Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickel coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're going to take a close look at something you might not expect to be worth a fortune, the 1990 United States 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel. You might think of it as just another coin, but stick around because what we're about to reveal might just surprise you. There's a lot more to this humble 5-cent piece than meets the eye. Let's rewind a bit and look back at 1990, the year this coin was minted. The 1990s marked a time of significant change in the United States, both economically and culturally. The country was emerging from the intense economic challenges of the 1980s, and the world was shifting rapidly into the digital age. The U.S. Mint, during this period, continued to produce millions of coins for circulation, including the 5-cent nickel. But what makes this particular coin worth paying attention to, especially for collectors, is a small, almost hidden detail, one that sets it apart from most other nickels of its time. First, let's talk about the design of the 1990 nickel. The obverse of the coin, which features the profile of President Thomas Jefferson, is a familiar sight to anyone who's ever handled U.S. currency. This design has been around for years, with Jefferson's likeness making its first appearance on the nickel in 1938. Surrounding his portrait are the words "Liberty" and the year 1990. On the reverse side of the coin, we have the famous image of Monticello, the Virginia plantation home of President Jefferson, which has been featured on the back of the nickel since 1938 as well. But here's where it gets interesting. While the design of the 1990 nickel might seem like any other nickel at first glance, the true value lies in the coin's rarity and condition. Coins from this era were produced in large numbers for general circulation, but very few remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Like many coins, most of the 1990 nickels saw daily use in transactions, and over time, they were subject to wear and tear. This means that coins with minimal signs of circulation are much harder to find than you might think. As with any collectible, the key to the value of a coin lies in its condition. A 1990 nickel in mint state, meaning it has no noticeable wear, scratches, or imperfections, can command much more than its face value. And that's where collectors come in. Many avid collectors search high and low for coins in uncirculated or near-mint condition, as these are the ones that hold the most value. But there's something else you should know that makes the 1990 nickel even more intriguing. There were a few variations and potential minting errors during this year that could significantly impact the value of the coin. For example, there's the possibility of a rare error where the nickel's die was slightly misaligned during the minting process, causing a variety of imperfections. These errors are highly sought after by collectors and can drive the value of the coin up even further. Now, let's talk about something that will really grab your attention. While most 1990 nickels are valued at just a few cents, there's a rare exception that has made its way to auction with an extraordinary price tag. If you're lucky enough to have a 1990 nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one that carries a minting error, it could be worth far more than you could imagine. In fact, this rare 1990 nickel has been known to fetch as much as $44,000, yes, you heard that right, $44,000. That's no small change for a coin that was originally worth only 5 cents. It's an incredible reminder that when it comes to rare coins, the value can skyrocket based on condition, rarity, and sometimes, a simple mistake during the minting process. So, how can you tell if your 1990 nickel could be worth a fortune? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for any signs of wear or damage. If it's still in excellent condition, free from scratches or discoloration, it's a good sign that it might be worth more than face value. And if you happen to notice any irregularities, like a strange alignment or a unique feature, make sure to get it checked out by a professional. It could very well be one of those rare variants that collectors dream of. If you're still unsure about the value of your coin, it's always a good idea to have it appraised by an expert or take it to a reputable coin dealer. They can give you a more accurate estimate based on the condition and any potential rare features. the lesson here is clear: never underestimate the value of a coin, even something as humble as the 5-cent nickel. While it may seem like just another everyday piece of currency, with the right circumstances, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Before we wrap things up, if you've got a collection of coins sitting around, now might be the time to dig them out and take a closer look. You never know, you might have a hidden treasure just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed learning about the fascinating world of rare coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on future coin discoveries. Top 2, we've got something special in store for you: a look at a coin you might have casually overlooked, the 1991 United States 5-cent piece, also known as the nickel. You may be wondering, how could a simple nickel from 1991 possibly be worth anything beyond its 5-cent face value? Well, buckle up, because this little coin might just be worth a lot more than you think. Let's start by taking a step back and exploring the history of the 1991 nickel. The U.S. Mint has been producing nickels for over a century, and the design on the 1991 nickel is part of a long tradition. The obverse side of the coin features the profile of President Thomas Jefferson, a design that's been used on the nickel since 1938. Jefferson's likeness is surrounded by the word liberty, the year 1991, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," which reminds us of the values that have shaped the United States for centuries. On the reverse side, we find a classic image of Monticello, the plantation home of Thomas Jefferson in Virginia. Monticello has graced the back of the nickel since its inception, symbolizing the connection between Jefferson and the land he valued so much. The coin's simple yet profound design has made the 1991 nickel a staple in American currency, circulated far and wide, and used in countless everyday transactions. But here's the twist: despite the coin's widespread circulation, there's something about the 1991 nickel that has caught the eye of serious collectors, and it's not just the design. It's the rarity, the condition, and perhaps a few minting errors that have transformed what was once just pocket change into a potentially high-value collectible. Like any coin, the condition plays a major role in determining its worth. Most of the 1991 nickels you'll find are worn and have seen years of use. After all, these coins were in regular circulation and spent time in people's pockets, wallets, and purses. Over the years, they've become scratched, faded, and chipped. But here's where things get interesting. When a 1991 nickel is found in mint condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear and tear, with crisp details and clean surfaces, it can be worth much more than the usual few cents. Coins that have been well preserved, especially those that have never been used in daily transactions, are far rarer and highly sought after, but the real excitement comes when you throw in the possibility of minting errors. As with many coins, the U.S. Mint occasionally produces coins with slight imperfections. For the 1991 nickel, some of these errors are considered quite rare and valuable. A misaligned die, doubling, or other minting mistakes can cause a coin to stand out from the rest, making it especially appealing to collectors looking for unique pieces to add to their collections. These error coins can sell for significantly more than a standard 1991 nickel in perfect condition. Now, let's talk numbers, because here's where things get truly jaw-dropping. While most 1991 nickels are valued around face value, you might be shocked to learn that a rare, uncirculated, or error-free 1991 nickel has been known to fetch a price of $42,000. That's right, $42,000. It's incredible how a coin that was once worth just 5 cents can end up being worth a small fortune. The combination of pristine condition and potential minting errors can cause the value to skyrocket in the right market. So, how can you tell if your 1991 nickel is worth a fortune? The first thing you'll want to do is closely examine the coin. Look for any signs of wear or damage. If the coin is still shiny, has sharp details, and shows no signs of being in circulation, it could be worth more than just its face value. Also, be on the lookout for any minting errors. Small flaws in the design, such as double strikes, off-center coins, or other unique features, can make your coin even more valuable. If you find something unusual, you might want to get it appraised by a professional or take it to a coin dealer who can help determine if it's a rare error coin. It's worth noting that even though the 1991 nickel might be rare in pristine condition, it's still a great idea to check through your spare change, roll collections, or even old coin jars you might have lying around. You never know, buried in the depths of your collection could be a coin that's worth far more than you initially thought. Now, before you start digging through your pockets or coin jars, remember that finding one of these coins in near-perfect condition or with a minting error is rare. But when it happens, it can lead to an amazing find. So, keep an eye out, because if you do come across a well-preserved 1991 nickel, or even one with a small error, you could be holding a hidden treasure. Before we wrap up, I encourage you to take a good look at your coin collections. You might have some forgotten gems in there that could be worth a lot more than you think. If you enjoyed learning about the 1991 United States 5-cent coin and its incredible value, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more exciting coin discoveries. Top 3. We're diving into the fascinating world of US currency to explore a coin that has a special place in history, the 1964 United States 5-cent coin, better known as the nickel. You might not think twice about nickels when you're using them to pay for your morning coffee or parking meter, but there's one particular 1964 nickel that could be worth more than you could ever imagine. Let's take a step back in time to 1964. The United States was in the middle of an exciting period, with major social and political changes taking place. It was the year the U.S. Mint produced millions of 5-cent pieces, along with other denominations. At the time, these nickels were being used for all sorts of everyday purchases. The coin itself may have seemed like just another small piece of currency to most people, but as we'll see, the 1964 nickel holds significant value today. So, what makes the 1964 nickel so special? Well, it all starts with the design. The obverse side of the 1964 nickel features the familiar portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, who has graced the coin since 1938. Jefferson's image is surrounded by the word liberty, the year 1964, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, you'll find a classic depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia plantation home, a symbol of American heritage and pride. This design was introduced in 1938 and remained unchanged for decades. On the surface, the 1964 nickel seems like just another ordinary coin from the past. But what sets it apart from others in circulation is its condition and rarity. Most 1964 nickels were used in everyday transactions and have been subjected to the wear and tear of time. It's not uncommon to find these coins in various states of wear, with faded designs, scratches, and discoloration. But there's a catch: when a 1964 nickel has been well preserved, free from damage and heavy circulation, it becomes highly sought after by collectors. The key to the value of the 1964 nickel lies in its condition. Coins that are in uncirculated, mint condition, meaning they show no signs of wear, are incredibly rare. Most of the 1964 nickels you'll find are far from perfect, but if you come across one that's still shiny, with sharp details and no scratches or scuff marks, you could be holding a valuable piece of history. And that's when collectors start taking notice. These coins can sell for far more than their face value, especially when they've been stored and preserved properly over the years. But wait, there's more. Beyond just the coin's condition, there's something else that could dramatically boost its value: minting errors. Mistakes happen in the minting process, and sometimes a coin is produced with a unique flaw that makes it stand out. For the 1964 nickel, a variety of minting errors could occur, things like double strikes, die cracks, or off-center strikes. These errors create rare and unique coins that are highly prized by collectors. A small flaw or misalignment can make a big difference in how much a coin is worth. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could a 1964 nickel really be worth? Well, while most of these coins are worth just a few cents, the value of a pristine, error-free 1964 nickel can be astronomical. Some of these coins, particularly those in perfect, uncirculated condition or with rare minting errors, have been known to sell for as much as $68,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $68,000. It's mind-blowing to think that a coin that once circulated for just 5 cents could be worth so much today. The combination of a flawless condition and rarity makes the 1964 nickel a coveted item in the world of coin collecting. So, how can you tell if your 1964 nickel could be worth a fortune? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for signs of wear. If it's still shiny, with sharp and clear details, then you're off to a great start. Next, check for any minting errors. If the coin has an unusual feature, like a misalignment or doubling of the design, it could be a rare error coin. Don't hesitate to consult a professional numismatist or coin dealer who can help you determine the true value of your coin. Finding a 1964 nickel in pristine condition or with a minting error is rare, but it's not impossible. If you happen to have one of these treasures hidden away in your collection, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, it's always worth checking your spare change or coin jar, especially if you have some old nickels from the 1960s that you haven't thought much about. Before we wrap up, let me give you a quick tip. If you come across a 1964 nickel that looks like it's in great condition, don't just assume it's worth face value. Take a closer look. You might have a coin that could fetch an impressive amount at auction. And always remember, the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises, and sometimes, a simple coin can turn into a major find. Top 4, we're going to dive deep into the 1974 United States 5-cent coin, or as we commonly call it, the nickel, and uncover how this seemingly ordinary coin might actually be hiding an incredible value. Stick around because we're about to reveal how much this humble coin could be worth today. Let's first take a moment to look at the context of 1974. The United States was in the midst of a time of great political and economic shifts. The Watergate scandal was still fresh in the nation's memory, and the economy was facing inflation and rising unemployment. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of 5-cent nickels, just like they had done for years. These nickels were used in everyday transactions, from buying a loaf of bread to paying a toll on the highway, and they carried the standard design that's become so familiar to us all. The 1974 nickel, like many other nickels from the 1960s and 1970s, features President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. His profile is encircled by the word liberty, the year 1974, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." This portrait of Jefferson has been a staple on the nickel since 1938 and continues to appear on the coin today. On the reverse side, you'll find a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia. This symbol has also been on the reverse of the nickel since 1938, representing the lasting legacy of one of the United States founding fathers. At first glance, the 1974 nickel doesn't appear all that different from any other standard nickel produced in that era. But here's the catch: what makes the 1974 nickel special isn't just the design, it's the potential value hidden in the coin's condition and rarity. Like most coins, the 1974 nickels that circulated at the time have seen a lot of wear and tear over the years. Many of them were used in daily transactions, which means that they've accumulated scratches, dents, discoloration, and fading. This makes a pristine, uncirculated 1974 nickel quite a rarity and highly sought after by collectors. The true value of any coin lies in its condition, and the 1974 nickel is no exception. Most of the coins you'll come across are likely to be worn down, as they were used in everyday commerce. But, if you happen to stumble upon a 1974 nickel that's still in mint condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear or damage and retains its original shine, it could be worth far more than just 5 cents. Coins that are well preserved and free from the usual dings and scratches are much rarer and more valuable to collectors who are looking to add uncirculated pieces to their collections. Now, there's another factor that can dramatically increase the value of a coin like the 1974 nickel: minting errors. Sometimes, during the production process, coins are struck with slight imperfections, things like misaligned dies, double strikes, or even off-center strikes. These minting errors can create coins that are unique and stand out from the rest, making them highly desirable to collectors. For the 1974 nickel, certain error coins can fetch a much higher price at auctions due to their rarity and the fact that they're one-of-a-kind items. So, if you happen to have a 1974 nickel with any unusual markings or features, you may want to take a closer look, as it could be worth significantly more than its face value. But now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of a 1974 nickel. While most 1974 nickels are worth only 5 cents, a 1974 nickel in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch a pretty penny. And if your 1974 nickel has any minting errors or unique characteristics, it could skyrocket in value. In fact, a rare 1974 nickel has been known to sell for as much as $59,000. That's right, $59,000. It's incredible to think that a coin that originally circulated as just a 5-cent piece could be worth such an impressive amount today. The combination of its pristine condition, rarity, and potential minting errors makes the 1974 nickel a highly sought-after collectible, and it's a reminder of just how valuable even the smallest pieces of currency can be. So, how can you tell if you've got a 1974 nickel that's worth a fortune? The first step is to examine the condition of the coin. If it looks as though it's been well preserved and still shows sharp, crisp details, then you might be holding a valuable piece. And if you notice any unusual features like a misaligned design, extra lettering, or anything that doesn't look quite right, it could be a minting error that could add significant value to the coin. If you think you found a valuable 1974 nickel, it's a good idea to have it appraised by a professional numismatist or take it to a reputable coin dealer who can evaluate its worth. These experts will be able to tell you whether your coin is truly rare or whether it's just a standard 1974 nickel. Now, I know you're all probably going through your old coins right now, checking for those rare finds. And that's exactly what coin collecting is all about, discovering hidden gems, learning about the rich history behind each coin, and maybe even finding a little fortune along the way. Top 5. We're going to dive into the world of a coin you've probably encountered countless times, the 1971 United States 5-cent piece, also known as the nickel. But here's the twist. This seemingly ordinary nickel from 1971 could actually be worth a whole lot more than just 5 cents. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be shocked at how much this little coin could fetch. First, let's set the scene. The year is 1971. The United States is going through some significant changes. The country was dealing with inflation and an evolving economy. President Richard Nixon is in office, and the nation is starting to recover from the social and political upheaval of the 1960s. But amidst all these changes, the U.S. Mint was hard at work, producing coins that would circulate through the country for years to come, one of those coins being the 1971 nickel. The design of the 1971 nickel features the well-known profile of President Thomas Jefferson, which has been a staple on the coin since 1938. Around his portrait, you'll find the word Liberty, the year 1971, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, you'll find an image of Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia. This design has remained unchanged for decades and is a symbol of Jefferson's connection to American history. At face value, the 1971 nickel seems like just another coin from the past. However, when you look closely, you'll start to realize why it's caught the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. You see, coins from this era are incredibly valuable in certain conditions. While most 1971 nickels are found worn out from years of circulation, a rare, uncirculated 1971 nickel, one that has been well preserved and shows no signs of wear, could be worth far more than you might expect. Coins that are kept in pristine condition are incredibly rare. Most of the 1971 nickels you find are well worn, with faded designs and scratches from years of use. However, if you happen to find a nickel from this year that looks brand new, sharp, clear details with no wear and tear, you might have just stumbled upon a real gem. This is where collectors start to get excited. The value of a coin increases dramatically when it is in mint condition because it is so much rarer than coins that have been in circulation. But the 1971 nickel's value doesn't just stop at its condition. There's something else that could make it even more valuable: minting errors. While the U.S. Mint is known for producing high-quality coins, sometimes mistakes happen. Minting errors, like a double strike, misaligned die, or off-center strike, can create coins that are one-of-a-kind. These error coins are highly prized in the world of coin collecting because they're unique, and finding one can add a significant amount of value to a coin. For example, imagine you have a 1971 nickel that's in excellent condition, but upon closer inspection, you notice a slight design flaw or a double strike. Suddenly, that ordinary nickel becomes something much more valuable. Error coins like this can make a huge difference in how much a coin is worth, especially when they come from a year like 1971, which was a significant time in American history. So, let's talk numbers. While most 1971 nickels are worth only 5 cents, the value of a rare, uncirculated 1971 nickel can be much higher. In fact, a 1971 nickel in pristine condition or one with a rare minting error can sell for as much as $62,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $62,000. It's hard to believe that a coin you might find in your pocket or loose in a drawer could have such an incredible value. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. What might seem like a simple piece of currency can actually be worth a small fortune when you understand the rarity and uniqueness of certain coins. Now, if you're wondering how you can tell if you've got one of these valuable 1971 nickels, here's what you should look for. First, examine the coin closely. If it looks like it's never been used or has minimal signs of wear, you're on the right track. Coins in uncirculated condition have a nice, shiny finish with sharp, clear details. The design should be well defined and free from any scratches, dents, or discoloration. Next, check for any minting errors. Look carefully at the coin's design. Are there any unusual features, like a double image of President Jefferson, or maybe the Monticello design is slightly off-center? These errors can make your coin even more valuable, so take your time to inspect it carefully. If you find something unusual, it could be worth getting the coin appraised by a professional numismatist or coin dealer who specializes in rare coins. Finding a 1971 nickel that's worth $62,000 may sound like a long shot, but it's not impossible. If you've been collecting coins or happen to have some older nickels lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You never know what hidden treasures could be waiting in your collection. Top 6. We have a fascinating topic lined up that's sure to excite anyone interested in coins, and even those just starting to explore the world of numismatics. We're talking about a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another 5-cent piece, but it's actually worth much more than its face value. That's right, today we're diving into the 1972 United States 5-cent coin, the nickel, and revealing how this little coin could potentially be worth a lot more than you might imagine. Now, before we dive into the specifics of the 1972 nickel's value, let's set the scene for a moment. The year 1972 was a significant one in U.S. history. The country was in the midst of the early 70s, dealing with economic shifts and major political events. The Watergate scandal was unfolding, and the country was in a period of change. Amid all of these developments, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins to meet the demands of everyday commerce, including the 1972 5-cent piece, which would soon become the focus of numismatic collectors in the years to come. The design of the 1972 nickel, just like the previous years, features the well-known portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side. Jefferson, the third President of the United States, has graced the front of the nickel since 1938, and his image is surrounded by the inscription Liberty, the year 1972, and the phrase, In God We Trust. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the classic depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia, which has been featured on the nickel since 1938 as well. But here's the interesting part: while the design of the 1972 nickel may not appear much different from those of previous years, the value of the coin today lies in a few key factors: rarity, condition, and the potential for minting errors. Most of the 1972 nickels you'll come across today have been in circulation for years and have the usual signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and faded details. These coins are still worth 5 cents, of course, but they aren't the ones that will make collectors' eyes widen in excitement. It's the well-preserved nickels that are worth something extraordinary. Coins in excellent, uncirculated condition are incredibly rare and highly valued by collectors. Think about it, for most of its life, a 1972 nickel has probably been in someone's pocket, used for everything from purchasing a snack to paying for public transportation. Over time, most coins get scratched, dented, and lose their luster. But finding a 1972 nickel that's still in mint condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear, is something that could really catch a collector's attention. Coins like this are highly prized because they're hard to come by, and they're worth much more than just 5 cents. And let's not forget about minting errors. Every year, the US Mint produces millions of coins, but sometimes mistakes happen during the minting process. A 1972 nickel with a minting error could include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, or misaligned dies. These errors make a coin unique and far more valuable to collectors, as they represent rare, one-of-a-kind mistakes. So, if you happen to have a 1972 nickel with an unusual feature, whether it's a slight misalignment or extra details where they shouldn't be, it could be worth a small fortune. It's not just about the coin's year or design, but the imperfections that can make it stand out from the rest. Now, let's get to the most exciting part. How much could a 1972 nickel actually be worth? While most of these coins are worth only 5 cents, a 1972 nickel in mint condition or with a rare minting error can be worth much more. In fact, some 1972 nickels have been known to sell for as much as $60,000. Yes, you heard that right, $60,000. That's right, a simple 5-cent piece, from a year that doesn't seem too long ago, could be worth a jaw-dropping amount. The combination of excellent preservation and the rarity of minting errors can drive the price of a 1972 nickel up to incredible heights. If you happen to find one of these rare coins, it could turn out to be a true treasure. So, how do you know if you've got a valuable 1972 nickel on your hands? Well, the first thing you should do is closely examine the coin. Does it look like it's never been used? Are the details still sharp and the design crisp? If the answer is yes, then you might have an uncirculated 1972 nickel that's worth much more than its face value. Next, check for any minting errors. Look for things like double strikes, unusual die cracks, or even an off-center design. Any strange feature could indicate a rare error coin that could be worth much more than the average nickel. If you believe you found a rare 1972 nickel, don't hesitate to have it appraised by a professional coin dealer or numismatist. These experts can help you assess the true value of your coin and determine whether it's a collector's item worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, a coin that seems ordinary can turn out to be worth an extraordinary amount of money. So, the next time you're going through your old coins, take a second look at that 1972 nickel. Who knows? You could be holding a coin that could sell for as much as $60,000. Top 7 and last coin, we're diving into a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but it actually holds incredible value. We're talking about the 1993 United States 5-cent coin, or as we all know it, the nickel. You won't believe how much this coin could be worth. Stick around until the end because we've got an exciting reveal for you. Let's start with some background. The year 1993 was an interesting time for the United States. The country was in the midst of economic changes, with Bill Clinton being inaugurated as the 42nd president. The early 90s saw technological advancements, the rise of the internet, and changes in global politics. But in the world of coins, things were pretty much the same. The US Mint was still producing millions of coins, including the 5-cent piece, which had been in circulation for over 50 years. This coin, like most, was used in everyday transactions, buying a soda from the corner store or paying for a toll on the highway. But as time passed, this seemingly insignificant coin would become an object of great interest for collectors. The design of the 1993 nickel is the same as the ones you've seen for decades. On the front, you'll find the classic portrait of President Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson's image is surrounded by the word liberty, the year 1993, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." This iconic design has been a mainstay on the nickel since 1938. On the reverse side of the coin, we see Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, which has also been part of the nickel design since 1938. The simplicity and historical significance of this coin make it instantly recognizable, but here's the thing, most of the 1993 nickels you'll come across are probably in average or even worn-out condition. After all, this coin circulated for years, passing from hand to hand, accumulating scratches, dents, and discoloration. A coin that's been through that much wear and tear might seem like it's worth no more than its 5-cent face value, and in most cases, that's true. However, there's one thing that could change everything: condition. The real value of any coin comes from how well it has been preserved. Coins that have been kept in excellent condition are incredibly rare, and that's where collectors start to get excited. An uncirculated 1993 nickel, meaning one that's been carefully preserved and shows no signs of wear, is much more valuable than one that has been used in daily transactions. Imagine finding a 1993 nickel that looks like it's just come fresh from the mint, sharp details, no scratches, no discoloration, just the way it looked when it was first struck. This coin is incredibly rare and highly sought after, but wait, it gets even better. While the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, there's another factor that can really send the price soaring: minting errors. The U.S. Mint is known for producing millions of coins each year, but sometimes, errors happen. These errors can result in a coin being struck with a misaligned design, double strikes, off-center strikes, or other unusual characteristics. Minting errors make a coin one of a kind and dramatically increase its value. If you find a 1993 nickel with a minting error, whether it's a double die or an off-center strike, it could be worth much more than you would ever expect. Error coins are highly desirable in the numismatic world because they are unique, and collectors will often pay top dollar for a coin that is the result of a mistake in the minting process. So, what exactly are we talking about when it comes to price? A regular 1993 nickel in circulated condition is worth, well, just 5 cents. But if you happen to come across a 1993 nickel that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, or one with a rare minting error, you might be looking at a much higher price tag. Some collectors have been known to pay substantial amounts for such coins, and a particularly rare and well-preserved 1993 nickel has been known to sell for as much as $41,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $41,000. It's truly incredible how much a simple 5-cent coin from 1993 can be worth if it's in the right condition or has an unusual minting error. While most people might not think twice about a nickel from the 1990s, coin collectors know that there's real value hidden in these coins, and with a little bit of luck and sharp eyes, you could be holding on to something worth a small fortune. Now, you may be wondering how you can tell if your 1993 nickel is one of these rare finds. The first step is to check its condition. If the coin looks like it's never been used, with crisp details and no signs of wear, you're in luck. The second step is to inspect the coin for any potential minting errors. Look for double strikes, misalignments, or anything that looks off-center. These small but significant imperfections can make your coin much more valuable. If you think you found a valuable 1993 nickel, it's a good idea to have it appraised by a professional. A reputable coin dealer or numismatist will be able to help you determine its value and guide you through the process of selling or auctioning it if you choose to do so. So, the next time you find yourself going through your spare change, take a moment to inspect those 1993 nickels. They might seem like just another ordinary coin, but one lucky find could make you the owner of a coin worth $41,000. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, the most ordinary things can sometimes hold extraordinary value. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.